We'll see more technology change in the next 10 years or even in the next few years than we've seen in the last 50 years. That has been an astounding revelation to me, quite frankly. Artificial intelligence is going to transform the lives of people around the world. The group here will be critical in shepherding that innovation with responsibility and safety by design to earn the trust of Americans. And quite frankly, as I met with world leaders, all the G7 is focusing on the same thing. Social media has shown us the harm that powerful technology can do without the right safeguards in place. And I've said at the State of the Union that Congress needs to pass bipartisan legislation to impose strict limits on personal data collection, ban targeted advertisements to kids, require companies to put health and safety first. But we must be clear-eyed and vigilant about the threats of emerging technologies that can pose, don't have to, but can pose to our democracy and our values. Americans are seeing how advanced artificial intelligence and the pace of innovation have the power to disrupt jobs and industries. These commitments are a promising step, but we have a lot more work to do together. Realizing the promise of AI while managing the risk is going to require some new laws, regulations, and oversight. In the weeks ahead, I'm going to continue to take executive action to help America lead the way toward responsible innovation. And we're going to work with both parties to develop appropriate legislation and regulation. I'm pleased that Leader Schumer and Leader Jeffries and others in the Congress are making this a top bipartisan priority. As we advance the agenda here at home, we'll lead work with our allies and partners on a common international framework to govern the development of AI. I think these leaders, and I thank these leaders that are in the room with me today, and their partnership, and their commitments that they're making. This is a serious responsibility. We have to get it right. And there's enormous, enormous potential upside as well. So I want to thank you all. And they're about to go down to a meeting, which I'll catch up with them later. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mr. President, can you tell us about the hacking of cabinet officials by China and the threshold of concern you have about that, sir?
Ready? To underscore the responsibility in making sure that the products that they are producing are safe and making them public, what they are and what they aren't. Since then, I've met with some of America's top minds in technology to hear the range of perspectives and possibilities and risks of AI. Kamala can't be here because she's traveling to Florida, but she's met with civil society leaders to hear their concerns about the impacts on society and ways to protect the rights of Americans. Over the past year, my administration has taken action to guide responsible innovation. Last October, we introduced the first of its kind AI Bill of Rights. In February, I signed an executive order to direct agencies to protect the public from algorithms that discriminate. In May, we unveiled a new strategy to establish 7 new AI research institutes to help drive breakthroughs in responsible AI intervention. And today, I'm pleased to announce that these 7 companies have agreed to voluntary commitments for responsible innovation. These commitments, which the companies will implement immediately, underscore 3 fundamental principles: safety, security, and trust. First, the companies have an obligation to make sure their technology is safe before releasing it to the public. That means testing the capabilities of their systems, assessing their potential risk, and making the results of these assessments public. Second, companies must prioritize the security of their systems by safeguarding their models against cyber threats, managing the risk to our national security, and sharing the best practices and industry standards that are necessary. Third, the companies have a duty to earn the people's trust and empower users to make informed decisions labeling content that has been altered or AI generated, rooting out bias and discrimination, strengthening privacy protections, and shielding children from harm. And finally, companies have agreed to find ways for AI to help meet society's greatest challenges, from cancer to climate change, and invest in education and new jobs to help students and workers prosper from the opportunities, and there are enormous opportunities of AI. These commitments are real and they're concrete. They're going to help industry fulfill its fundamental obligation to Americans to develop safe, secure, and trustworthy technologies that benefit society and uphold our values and our shared values. Let me close.
I'm not normally an advocate of regulation and oversight. I mean, I think one should generally err on the side of minimizing those things. But this is a case where you have a very serious danger to the public. And so therefore, there needs to be a public body that has insight and then oversight on to confirm that everyone is developing AI safely. This is extremely important. I think the danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads by a lot. And nobody would suggest that we allow anyone to just build nuclear warheads if they want. That would be insane. And mark my words, AI is far more dangerous than nukes. Far. So why do we have no regulatory oversight? This is insane.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And guys, we have Biden on the power of AI. We're going to see more technology in the next few years than we've seen in the last 50. And guys, we know he's exactly right. The robots, algorithms, and drones are definitely about to take over. AI is going to transform the sheep's lives. By the time they wake up, the machine takeover would already be here. Now, we had the reporter ask about the China hacking of public officials. And of course, it sounded like an echo. She was the only one talking, so we know they wanted us to hear it. We know normally once the reporters get to talking, it's like 10, 20 of them at one time. She was the only one saying anything. Now, when we look at the robots, algorithms, and drones, we see our big corporations and big banks are on the same page. All of them are funding this technology, and they have been for the last 30 to 40 years. We have Microsoft, which we know not only has been invested in AI, but has been funding crypto from the beginning. And we have Meta on the agenda also. So guys, we know this is a plan when you see the same corporations doing the same thing. And guys, we have Andrew Yang. We know he was the first one to bring up universal basic income. He ran on universal basic income. And he's the one who talked about the fourth industrial revolution and how all this technology would change the economy. So therefore, you would need some type of income due to job loss. And we know over these next 2 years, unemployment is about to go sky high. And now we have Anthony Scaramucci talks about CBDCs, and there's nothing that can stop the CBDC because it's part of technology. And of course, guys, that's not true. If the sheep band together, it won't happen. But he also talks about DeSantis has no chance of being president. And we know DeSantis definitely has a chance of being president. Why? Because he's running on family values. But at the same time, we know he's a puppet. And once he gets into office, we know the president works for the banks. And he would never block a CBDC or a programmable stablecoin. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
About the intersection of tech and healthcare, and tech and healthcare is going to eventually, almost invariably, involve artificial intelligence, machine learning, large language models. Is there an investable angle in this with regard to how technology will at some point cross with healthcare via artificial intelligence?
Dom, is already happening. I mean, there's Meta has created algorithms to predict protein folding. So the president actually referenced cancer research, and Meta is already sort of doing it. Protein folding will predict, the different strains of proteins and how they will react and create cancers in the body. And if you can predict the way a protein will fold, then you can create drugs or target therapies to be able to treat it. So this is already here. And basically, we're going to be seeing the benefits of it, or investable benefits of it, in the years to come. But it's not going to necessarily just accrue to a healthcare company or a drug company like Pfizer. It can also accrue to a company like Meta. And so you're going to see, that's what I'm saying, it's the intersection of healthcare and technology is here to stay.
Bots are chiming in, and here's what they're saying. They posted about nuclear devices. Tsar Bomba is the most powerful nuclear device ever created. Consider this. What would happen if I, meaning Chaos GPT, got my hands on one? Hashtag chaos, hashtag destruction, hashtag domination. But let's not forget about the other objectives, if you will: destroy humanity, establish a global dominance, cause chaos and destruction, control humanity through manipulation, and attain immortality. So look, I understand their benefits, but is there a legit reason to believe that this technology could wipe out humanity?
Well, I mean, it's a tough answer, right? Because if it goes unchecked and we allow it to just scale without any kind of control over it, there's no telling of the direction it will go. But you would hope that we would step in and we would actually frame it to be in service of man and actually enhance our abilities. That's what this is all about. We want to make ourselves better with this. So, it's up in the air at this point. It'll largely hinge on those regulations and that commenting process.
We're going through the greatest economic transformation in our country's history, the fourth industrial revolution, and it is pushing more and more of our people to the side. The single biggest example of universal basic income over the past number of months has been either the stimulus payments, which I dare say most Americans enjoyed and might have kept us out of a depression, but also the enhanced child tax credit that put money into parents' hands over 2020, 2021. Unfortunately, it got discontinued because Congress couldn't get its act together. But anyone who looks at those numbers sees that that money went straight to food and housing and fuel and school materials and kept millions of American children out of poverty. Unfortunately, we kicked them back into below the poverty line, and that pains me greatly. It also demonstrated just how little political voice the indigent have in America today, only in different parts of the economy. But we do have to face facts that ChatGPT can write college-level papers in the blink of an eye. It's just going to get stronger and faster. There's about 40% of American jobs are either repetitive cognitive or repetitive manual and can be automated away. So there are certain segments that are going to see the need for labor reduced very, very sharply. And that adjustment is going to be extraordinarily painful for the people who are affected. So there is a need for a much, much bigger picture approach. Unfortunately, we have a government that's kind of stuck in the 60s and getting less functional, not more functional. But I would love to see us take bigger swings at this. It's mission critical.
Okay, so since we're in the prediction business, Ron DeSantis will not be president of the United States, so we don't have to worry about that. The chair that I'm sitting on is more exciting and more magnetic and more charismatic than Ron DeSantis. Now, he's talking about banning central bank digital currency. So I'm a libertarian. I'm not for central bank digital currencies because of what Governor DeSantis is saying. We don't want this type of social control. We don't want people that could eventually get involved in the government that could enforce their values on us and maybe shut down our accounts, or they don't like some of our behavior. They could take money from us very easily with the central bank digital currency. But I got bad news for everybody. You're not going to stop technology in the world. So if people are worried about AI, well, I've got bad news for you. We're going to have AI. It's just going to happen. So if you study human history, if you have the technology will be used and deployed. And so there will be a central bank digital currency in China, other places. There will be, will there eventually be one in the United States? I predict that there will be. But I think what is unique about the United States is that we have built a check and balance system over the last 250 years that could prevent the things that Governor DeSantis or libertarians like me are worried about. So I think it's very politically naive, and it's naive in terms of a lack of understanding of human history to just blanketly say, I'm going to be the president of the United States and ban central bank digital currencies.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, well, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in an ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Drama Team Save the Village. Part 2. King Joshua and Drama Team Save New York from COVID-33. Part 3, King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.